All right, guys, so usually I do a full month wrap up and post that on like the first day of the beginning of each new month. But I actually challenged myself to read a book a day. Well, the initial challenge was to read a book a day for 21 days, but by day 14, I was absolutely tapped out physically, emotionally, all the things. So I decided to cut it off by day 14. So I thought 14 books was a lot, and I still had 2 full weeks of the month to go off of. So I thought I'd do a wrap up mid month and share that with you guys, the experience of reading a book a day and then also going over those books as well. So without further ado, let me dive into that experience and then also give you a wrap up in itself of those 14 books. So let's get into it. Okay, so for the start of my read a book a day challenge, I started with Somewhere in the City by Alex Astor. And I started with this book because it was like a shorter book and I didn't want to overwhelm myself. I also think I woke up late on this day. I did. I woke up a little late and it's because my alarm did not go off. Thank you, Apple. So I started with this book. I also wanted to start with Alex Astor because I have been hesitant to start her like Sky Shade. No, it's like the Lightlark series, and this is a standalone, and it's her only contemporary book. So yeah, I thought I'd start with her, and I wanted to see like her writing style. And this was good. I did enjoy it. I think it's like a love it or hate it type of book. So we have this character who's very much like an introvert, and she kind of gets out of her comfort zone and has like kind of like a misunderstanding with this man. They have like a hot and heated moment, and he says something, and from that moment on, she hates him. But then they become neighbors when she's like house sitting, and she's kind of like in a like a rut, like writer's block. And they get into like this fake dating thing and it kind of inspires her and they kind of like go off from there. And that's like the plot of the story. And I really enjoyed this book. This is like a love it or hate it, I think I said. A love it or hate it type of book. You either really love it or you really hate it, is what I could tell from some of like the reviews that I read. And I really love this. And I think it's because I saw a lot of myself in Elle's character. Like I said, she's a very much introvert character. She is like leisure only clothing, and I love to hang out in my sweatpants and comfortable clothes if I can. I don't like to go out very often, and that's her. That's her to a T. So she kind of like gets out of her comfort zone throughout the story. Her development felt very organic, and I loved what she does. There was a moment in here that if she did take the direction she was going to take, I would have definitely disliked this book a lot more. But we took a different direction, and I appreciated it. But ultimately, I did rate this book 4.75 stars. Yeah, there was some choppiness in the beginning of the book, like some time jumps that felt a little discombobulating to me, but we got over it. We did. So, yeah, I did like the writing in here, and it made me feel more confident about Alex Astor's writing. So I probably will get into her series, and I've heard very great things about Starside. So I'm very excited to get into Alex Astor's other writing. But I really enjoyed this book. So 4.75 stars. Would recommend. Would recommend. But be wary, because again, you'll love it or hate it. You'll love it or hate it. Next up on my journey to read a book a day, I chose To Kill a Kingdom by Alexandra Christo. This was on my TBR for like the month. I have TBR cards, and my TBR card that I pulled was to pick to read a book that had like alliteration in the title, and this was the closest thing to it. So I thought I'd just get this book out of the way. So this book follows a siren, so this is a siren book, and the FMC, she's the siren. She's fallen out of like the good graces of her mother, who is like the sea witch, like the sea hag witch, whatever. And she's like the queen. And so to get in the good graces of her mom, she's like set on a journey with like the enemy, which is like one of the princes, and he is like on a vendetta to get rid of the sea witch. So they kind of are on this journey together, her to stop him essentially, and him to get rid of the sea witch. And you know, enemies to lovers in this FMC, she is a villain. I could not conceive how much of a villain she was. She was saying some things that I was like, oh, wow. Wow, my mouth was on the floor. She did not care. Empathy did not meet her. Empathy was not in the room with this girl. No. No. I did enjoy the actual enemies to lovers aspect in here. It was fun. It was fun. I really wish there was more tension between the FMC and the MMC. I wish they had more one-on-one time together to like build more chemistry between them. I would have liked to see more of that. The ending missed me with that. I did not understand why the FMC did what she did at the end. I was really enjoying the book for a majority of it until we got to the end. I almost DNF'd it. I had 45 pages left, and because of that ending, I almost DNF'd it. I was so angry. I was so angry because I was having such a great time until that ending. Because of that, I gave this book 3.75 stars. And it's basically a standalone. There is another book after this one, but you can read this by itself. But that ending pissed me off. Pissed me off. I'm still mad about it. And I read this a couple weeks ago. Still mad about it. So angry. So angry. So the next 3 books cover the next 3 days in my challenge. And the whole thing about this challenge is that I kind of wanted to like dive into my physical TBR. I wanted to kind of hammer it out, get some of the books on my shelf read. But I had a caveat in this challenge that if I didn't have like the next book in the series like owned, that I could read it on my Kindle. And that's what I did for this next series. I owned the first book, but I didn't have the next 2 books in the series, so I read the next 2 books on my Kindle. So the series that I'm talking about today is A Kingdom of Stars and Shadows. I owned this book, and then the next 2 books, which the second book is A Kingdom of Blood and Betrayal, and then the third book is A Kingdom of Vows and Venom. Oh man, I kind of wish I never picked it up. So, A Kingdom of Stars and Shadows by Holly Renee. The story, as I'm not going to say what the second and third one are about because it's a continuation of the story. So the first book is about a girl who has like these markings on herself. She's like star blessed is what they're called. And that like makes her unique. That makes her like a powerful being, and that makes her the person that the royals want. So essentially, she's like a blood bag for the royals to like take power from her to make them more powerful. So she is essentially picked up to be the bride for the royals so they can garner more power for themselves. But in it, she essentially becomes torn between who she's supposed to be the bride for and the other prince who she's having feelings for. So it's like a love triangle situation, but not really because we know who she actually wants. And that's kind of like the plot. Torn between who she's supposed to be for and who she really wants. And that's kind of like the story. My biggest problem with the first book, at least, is well, mostly my biggest problem with Holly Renee's fantasy books, because I did read her other fantasy book. If I can find it, hold on. The Veiled Kingdom. That's what it is. The Veiled Kingdom series is her lack of explanation of magic. There's no explanation on the markings, what they look like on the FMC's body. There's literally no explanation of the magic itself in here. What I do love about Holly Renee's writing, at least in this book, is that it's very fast paced, so it's easy to like really follow along. You're like, lots of things are going on, and I love that you can get through this book really quickly. So I thoroughly enjoyed that aspect. I love that the MMC is 10 toes down for this FMC. She's very obsessed from like moment one. It is very like insta lusty, lovey. I mean, if you don't love that, you're not gonna love this. But I thoroughly enjoyed this book. It was just the lack of magic explanation that really threw me, which, yeah, lack of world building. If you're looking for that, you're not gonna like this book, which was my biggest issue with that series. But nevertheless, I still gave this book 4.25 stars. Then I moved on to the second book, The Kingdom of Blood and Betrayal. That book was painfully slow. Painfully slow. It was mostly spice. There's nothing that really happens in that book. The bonds that happen with the side character are shallow at best, and I hated it. The dialogue in there, horribly repetitive. Horribly repetitive. But the cliffhanger in it had me. Had me enough to continue with the series. I still gave the second book 3 stars. But that cliffhanger got me on the hook for the next book. And the third book was promising. The beginning of it was promising. It started so well. We had multiple POVs, which was fun, and it started unexpectedly. I didn't see the plot twist of the beginning of that third book coming. First 40% was way more fun than whatever was going on in that second book, and I was happy that I continued with the series until that 40% happened. Then we got back into the repetitive dialogue that we had in the second book, and the spice, back-to-back spice scenes. I don't need that. I don't like it, and it pissed me off. The ending, underwhelming as all get out. I ended up rating that third book 3.25 stars. I was horribly upset. I should have DNF'd it. I was so mad. So this entire series, overall, not worth it. Again, we never got an explanation of the magic. And in that third book, another thing I should mention is that we got an additional element of magic added in there. If you're going to build onto your magic system, at least have a good foundation of your magic. No foundation ever laid down for this magic system. I think I'm done with Holly Renee's fantasy books. I can't. I literally cannot. There is also a spin-off book for like the side characters in this series. I will not ever do that because I cannot. I literally cannot with Holly Renee's fantasies. I can't. I literally can't. I can't do it anymore. No. I will not put myself through this ever again. So, be forewarned. Be forewarned. Nope. Please don't. If you like world building, I don't think Holly Renee has the capacity to do world building. I've already been through it with her. She cannot do it. So, be forewarned. Yeah. So for my 6th day, this actually was my first day when I was actually working. So I have a full-time job, and I didn't have to work on Friday. We got the day off for my job. They give it to us, and it was like because of the 4th of July. And so I took the first couple of days off for that week. So I had like the full first few days off of July off, so I could give this week the challenge my full attention before I actually had to do this challenge and work. So this is my first day where I had to actually work and do this challenge, and I knew it was going to be a doozy on my system. So I thought I'd start this challenge and working with like something that would like keep my attention. So I chose Indigo Ridge by Debney Perry because this is supposed to be like a suspenseful romance, like a thriller romance. So this book follows a like new like chief of police. She's a woman, and she's in this new small town. She just moved to the small town, and she's the new police chief. And there is a suspicious death. It's like a suicide, but she doesn't think it's a suicide. So she does some investigating, and there is a man she had a little one night stand with who is also like the founder of this town's son. Um, and yeah, she's like poking around, and he's like, maybe you shouldn't do that. But like, that's kind of like the premise. So she's kind of fooling around this founder son, and then she's also poking around this town that's really close knit, uh, doing this investigations, because that's kind of the plot of this book. And I wish I liked this more than I did, because I think that the romance for me kind of fell flat. I wish there was a lot more push and pull, like tension with them, like them seeing each other like across the room, and like feeling like a lot more tension there. And but it kind of just like the romance kind of just like happened, you know. Um, there kept being like more like one night stands, you know. And I wish there was just more for them. And then as far as like the thrillery aspect, yes, the investigation kept happening, but I wish there was like more elements of like, you know, suspense. So like if this was going to be more romance, then I wish there was more romance and I got more romance there. Or if this is going to be more thrillery, I wish there was like more tension, anxiety, you know. I just needed more of one of those elements, and I got like, you know, it was just kind of bleh for both elements. So, yeah, I don't know. I needed one extra of either element, and it was just flatline for both. I did get like the tension and anxiety towards the end for the thriller aspect, and I did enjoy that when I got it, but I needed more. So, I mean, I still enjoyed the journey. I liked the investigation aspect of this book, and I did love the romance by the end, and the journey was good. So I did give this book 4 stars. Will I continue with the series? Absolutely. I don't have any of the other books in my possession, but I will get to them eventually. It's just not like it didn't drive me to want to continue, you know? So, yeah, but I'll get to them. I will. I will. But yeah, 4 stars. It was good. It was good. But I don't see any hype, you know? Eh. On my day 7, I read Tangled Up in You by Christina Lauren. And this one follows this girl who's been living on like a homestead with her parents for all of her life, has not gone to like a real school at all. And she convinces her parents at the age of 22 to let her to go to college. It comes with a lot of restrictions, but they let her go, and she learns something in class, and she convinces her, or not convinces, but like strong arms this like playboy type to let her join him on his like road trip to get some answers. She needs some answers. So that's kind of like the plot of this book, and it's fun. It's very much like Grumpy Sunshine. It's the description that I read. It's like a reimagining of the movie Tangled, and that is the nail on the head for this one. It is definitely that. The characters like from the movie, like Flynn Rider and Rapunzel. Yeah, That's the essence of the two characters in here. Very much grumpy sunshine. Absolutely. I love these characters. The FMC in here is very much like a naive type character, but like don't mess with her because she can stand on her own type of character. She is not to be trifled with. Do not underestimate her. I loved these characters and seeing, the MMC like fall for her slowly but surely was a sight to behold. I absolutely adored this book, and I might be a little biased because I loved Tangled when it came out. I had like a Tangled like birthday party, and I was older too. I was in high school. I loved Tangled, so I might be straight up biased, but this was so much fun. And did I see the twist coming? Yes, I did, but I still thoroughly enjoyed this book. I gave this book 4.75 stars. Sue me. It was so good. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this. I highly recommend. Highly recommend. Okay, it's day 8. Let me set the scene. I was exhausted on this day. I was falling asleep. I was so tired on this day. I chose this book specifically purely just because I had the audiobook ready to go on Libby because I was listening to this book at work when I couldn't read it throughout the day. I knew I wouldn't be able to finish it after work. I, at this point, was reading pages before work and after work to be able to finish the book, but I knew I wasn't going to be able to finish the book because I was falling asleep before work trying to get in pages before work, So I chose this book because the audiobook was available and I needed the help. So the book that I chose was Bet on It by Jody Slaughter. And I wish I liked this book more than I did. This book follows this woman who basically really loves to go to like bingo. She's like new to town and she doesn't really get out much because she has like social anxiety. And the place that she like seems to like really fit in is funnily enough like this like old folks place that they do bingo, and she's like gotten really close to one woman in particular, and right now this woman in particular apparently has fallen and broken both of her arms, and so she has her grandson helping her right now, and the grandson is now feeling real close, getting real close with the FMC. And he also has real bad anxiety and some PTSD, and so they kind of get close. They get close because of that, and that's the plot of this book. They just, yeah. I have problems with this book purely just because of that. I love when mental health issues are included in my books. I really do. My biggest issue is when both characters have the same mental health issues at the degree that these two characters had, because it became the main plot point. Like, if this book is going to be a romance book, then romance has to be at the forefront. But their anxiety became the forefront and not the romance. I felt like I was reading a mental health book and not a romance book at this point. And if it's a mental health book, then that's fine. But this is supposed to be a romance. And all I was reading is the constant like panic attacks and the anxiety, and that's not why I'm here. That is not why I'm here. And I didn't feel like their chemistry was very good, especially towards the end. They're like, "Oh, I love you," and I'm like, "Do you? Do you love her?" I don't feel like there's been a lot of moments where you guys could have like good, like into it talks. They didn't have like a lot of like get to know you talks. Like they had like a lot of like trauma talks which I guess can be construed as get to know you talks, but like not like get to know you. I don't know. I didn't feel the chemistry between these two characters, and the pacing was a little off, a little slow. I didn't feel it. I just didn't enjoy it, and I didn't like the way that the third act breakup, because there's a third act breakup in here. I didn't like how it happened, and I didn't like the rejoining of the couple. I just didn't like this book in its entirety. I did love some aspects of the book, but it just didn't make up for all that we went through. So I gave this book 3.5 stars.
In my editing of this video, I realized that 3.5 was just a little too generous, so I decided to downgrade my score to 3.25.
It is what it is. Okay, so these next two books are spread out a little bit, but they're in the same series. So the first book, In the Veins of the Drowning by Callie Cassidy, I read this on my day 9, and then In the Wake of the Ruin, I read this on my day 14. And the reason they're spread out is because on my 14th day, I was like, oh, I have a pre-ordered book. I didn't know what it was, but it was in like a Barnes & Noble box. And I was like, as a finale, I will open up this box, and whatever's in the box, I will read today as my finale book. And it happened to be this book. So I was like, oh, this is Kismet. I love this book, so I can't wait to get into this book. And so that's why they are spread out. So In the Veins of the Drowning by Callie Cassidy is about a siren, and it's just another siren book. And this one follows a girl who is a siren, and she is kind of undercover because the man that's like adopted her, he is the king, and he is like a siren killer. And so she's kind of under wraps. But he has betrothed her, he's promised her to one of his like soldiers, like the captain of his guard. And so she's in an arranged marriage, and things take a turn mighty fast. That's all I'm going to say, because it is best if you go in for the most part blind, because this book is very fast paced. You never know what's going to happen from page to page, and I really promise you that, because I was like, oh, literally every page that I turned. The MMC in here, oh my gosh, he's so swoon worthy. I promise you, the lines that he was saying, I like, there's tabs in here. Every tab in here is something that he said that was like, oh my gosh, I was speechless. And the things that I haven't heard lines like this since like when I was watching like first, second season of Bridgerton, like Queen Charlotte, my heart calls your name, like those types of things, like you are the bane of my existence and the object of my desires, like those types of things. Like he was saying things that I was like, I love this MMC in here. He is obsessed with this FMC so much. This book was so good, so fast paced. I could not put it down. It was so hard because, like I said before, I was reading books before I had to go into work, and I think I got to like page 100 before I had to start working. And then right after work, I had to like dive right back into this book because I was so excited. I was so excited to get back into this book. It was so good. I love this book. I gave this book 5 stars. And then when I finally got into this book, it was just like this book, so good. The yearning in this book, oh my gosh, unmatched. The yearning was so good in this book. I did love this book a little less than this book. I think it was mainly because of the end, and the pacing was just had bit off. There were moments in here that it did drag just slightly in this book, but the ending also, I did have to suspend disbelief in the ending. I know it's a fantasy, but the ending, You'll understand. You'll understand if you read the end of this book and you're like, mm, mm, okay, okay. So yeah, the ending of this book really threw me, but overall, I did enjoy this series. I gave the second book 4.5 stars. Overall, this duology here, fantastic. So freaking good. I love this series. This MMC is to die for. To die for. Love this duology. So good. So good. Okay, so for day 10, I wanted to end my day early. It was Friday and I had possible plans, so I kind of had to end my day early just in case. So I chose Two Can Play by Allie Hazelwood. I love Allie Hazelwood, okay? But I had a friend who read this book, I want to say like a month before me, and she did not love this little book here. And so I was already a little hesitant, but I wanted to go in with an open mind. So I was like, you know what? It's fine. I'm sure it'll be fine. So this book follows two essentially gaming companies who are supposed to be working on the same game together, but they don't like each other. Like the employees have some serious animosity. So like the two CEOs force all the employees to this like winter retreat to try to like help out the employees to like maybe get rid of this animosity. So the like lead game designers, the FMC and the MMC, um, the FMC she's fine, but the MMC supposedly hates her, and she doesn't know why. So that's kind of like the plot. It's just like her being like, I don't know why he has an issue with me, and yeah, there's like a light miscommunication trope in there, and yeah, that's like the plot of the book, and I enjoyed myself actually. I surprisingly enjoyed myself. This is like a love it or hate it type of book, but yeah, I don't know. I thought this book was really cute. It's short and sweet. There, like I said, there is a miscommunication trope in here, but it is an understandable miscommunication trope which doesn't happen very often and is short-lived because obviously this book is really short. So you can't really have a really long-lasting miscommunication trope because you just don't have the pages. Um, yeah, so I thought it was fine. It's spicier than I thought it was going to be for how short this book is, but I was ultimately okay with that as well. I love Allie Hazelwood's spice. Overall, I thought this book was fine. The only problem I had with this book is that I needed it to be longer. I felt like this book was too much beginning. There needed to be more from like the side characters and the main characters. This felt like the start of something than anything else. There was no resolution. I didn't feel like there was a resolution. I needed there to be more. And I think that was my biggest issue, is that I just needed more. And that's my problem. That's not Allie, well, I guess it could be Allie Hazelwood's problem because she's the author. She could write more, but I mean, that's that. I just wanted more. I mean, does the characters have like a HEA? Sure, but there could be more, and that's what I wanted, was more. So yeah, that was my biggest qualm, is that I wanted more. Is that the worst problem to have? No. So yeah, I gave this book 4.25 stars. It was good. I don't know why this book is so low on Allie's like spectrum of books, that people like dislike this book so immensely. On like, out of all of her books, people don't like this one the most. So I don't know, but I liked this book. So yeah, it was good. Short and sweet. Well, short and spicy, I should say. But yeah, it's good. So for my day 11, I had plans. It was Saturday, and I do have a life. I know it is surprising. I don't just read all day. I know, crazy. So I needed another short book, which was The Fae Queen's Captive by Sarah Simone. She's a little short and sweet girl. But yeah, this book follows a archaeologist who gets snatched up and taken to the Fae realm, where she's a little sex pot for 3 days to the Fey Queen, and then they agreed to let her let her go after those 3 days. And yeah, that's the plot. And I enjoyed this. I really did. I thought there was like a good solid structure here. We had a beginning, a middle, and an end. I felt satisfied with the ending. It was good. I only had a problem with some development of the characters. I feel like at least one or two, like one of the characters was a certain way in the beginning, and then completely 180 was a completely different way by the end. Personality change, absolutely. I was like, okay, sure. There was also a certain thing that I was like, no, that doesn't make any sense because she's a human, and the thing that she does, there's a specific moment that she does something that as a human, I was like, that's disgusting. You would not do that. I don't care if you think in the moment it's good. I don't believe that you would do that. It didn't make any sense, and I was like, no, I can't suspend my disbelief this hard. No. So, yeah, there was some out of this world craziness. I don't care that this is a fantasy. No, no. So it took me out of the story. This moment of disgust took me out. Took me out. Snatched me out. So yeah, there's just moments of complete and utter disbelief. But I did like Sierra Simone's twist on Fey fruit, because if you know anything about Fey fruit, it's that you eat it. It can warp your mind in ways that it's like you want to stay in the Fey realm, and I liked her twist on it. It was very on brand for Sierra Simone, and I liked that. I like that she's sticking to her roots. I appreciate it. I love her for that. So yeah, I really enjoyed this book. I gave this book 4.5 stars. It was really enjoyable for what it was. It is a sapphic book, so if that's your jam, this is for you. This is for you. So yeah, definitely pick this up. Okay, so for my day 12, I had an idea for what I wanted to read. I wanted to read something longer because I had a full day, you know? I wanted to read like a 400-page book. However, I also got home late. Okay. I got home at like, I want to say like midnight. I was so tired. I was out hitting the town at like 11:30 at night. I live in Illinois, okay? I was in the city. I was in Chicago, and I live an hour outside of Chicago. Okay. I did not get home until well after midnight, and so I slept in. And then I had a hard time getting out of bed. So I had plans. I had plans to read a longer book. I did. I had plans to read at least a 400-page book because I had my eyes set on a longer page book. I did. I did. But that was just not in the cards. So I ended up picking a shorter book. And there was a book that I had my eye on that sounded really fun and interesting, and that book was What Fury Brings by Trisha Levenseller. So this happened to be my day 12 book. Now this book follows a woman who is like a princess to a monarchy that is women led. So every higher up is a woman. Women are the top tier, and I love that. I love that. Okay, let's be real. Women do it best. Okay, so we have this kingdom here who are women led, and then we have another kingdom over here that is men led. Okay, so this princess, she's in it for the throne. Okay, she wants to be the next up, and the way she's going to do that is by kidnapping one of the princes of this kingdom that's man led. and she's not trying to start a war, so she's going for one of the second sons. All right, but in doing that, she accidentally grabs Crown Prince, the first one, the firstborn. Uh, Whoops. That's the plot of the book. All right. I wanted to love this book. I really did. I loved what the author was trying to do here. I really do. And I don't generally read the author's note, but I loved the author's note. I loved the message she was trying to bring forth. However, in the way she executed the plot of this book, I was exhausted. I was exhausted because in what the dialogue of the FMC, how she was constantly explaining to the MMC about how the world is in the world she's living, and explaining to the MMC how women have it hard, and men suck, which yes, yep, absolutely, men do suck. I was exhausted because as a woman myself and the reader, I'm I know this is the life we're living, and whatever, what have you, but I felt in a way, being mansplained women's struggles, and it was it was just exhausting, after hearing about it, after the 10th time of her explaining to this MMC women's struggles. And I was I get it. You're trying to explain it to this man, but I know women's struggles. So hearing about it, because you're explaining it to him for the 10th time, it's just, I'm tired. I know. So that was annoying. The pacing of this book, pretty slow. Pretty slow pacing. So that was tiring. I didn't feel like the intimacy between the characters was more than just physical. I didn't feel like their chemistry was very good. It just wasn't much to me. I wanted to like it. I really did. I put in so much effort, but I didn't see it. I didn't see it. So I gave this book 3.25 stars, and it hurt me. It hurt me to give it that, because I really wanted to give it more. I did. So that was a bummer. It was. All right, for my 13th day, I read The Mating Game by Lana Ferguson, and I enjoyed this. I enjoyed this immensely, purely just because I love Omegaverse, okay? I love nodding, which if that's not your vibe, then what are you doing? Don't read Omegaverse, but I love the aspects of beta, omega, alpha, so yeah, that's my jam. It's not yours, then stay away from them. But this book follows a woman who has been a beta all her life, but then she goes to the doctor at the ripe age of 28. And she's like, I'm sick. And actually, the doctor's like, no, actually, you're just an omega. And she's like, huh? And she's like, yeah, you're just you're late presenting as an omega. And she's like, no. And they're like, yeah. She's like, great, because I'm actually gonna go renovate this man's lodge in the middle of nowhere. And they're like, well, good luck with that. And she's like, thanks, cool. And she does that. She goes, renovates this man's lodge, and this man is also an alpha. What luck. So that's the plot of this book. So loved this. I actually listened to some of the audiobooks because I was working and trying to get through this book. So yeah, so I'm so happy I did that, because the voice actor for this book, the male voice actor, is so good. Oh my gosh. The dirty talk. My mouth is on the floor. My jaw unhinged like a snake. I was baffled. Baffled. It was so good. It was so good. So I highly recommend the audiobook, even just briefly, just to know what it sounds like. It was so good. But yeah, I think that the side characters are really fun and quirky. I just wish that they were in it a little more, especially because the main characters, they have some heavy baggage, both of them. So I wish to see like the side characters pulled in a little bit more just for like that levity aspect, to just balance things out. And I wished that maybe the pacing was a little bit better because it did drag every now and again. But overall, I did enjoy this book for the most part. For the most part, I did have a good time. I did have a good time. I gave this book 3.75 stars. I did. Um, Definitely recommend, especially if you read the Fake Mate, because these are standalones, but the Fake Mate, you get those cameos. If you read the Fake Mate, pretty immediately you see characters from that book in this book. So if you like cameos, then you'll have a good time. You'll have a good time in this book. So yeah. Um, so that's that. All right, guys, that is all 14 books that I read for the first 14 days of July. And honestly, I can't even really fathom that I read a book a day for 14 days. I I'm honestly baffled with myself. I don't know if I'll ever do that again. Just like the sheer sleep deprivation that I went through, it was not fun. And I like to come to think of it, like I was gonna do 21 days. 21 days. I don't know how I thought I was gonna do that. I don't drink coffee, guys. I gave up caffeine in high school. I made that choice with myself when I was a youth. I realized pretty early on that caffeine was just not it for me. I used to get, this is going to be a cute little rant. I used to get really bad caffeine withdrawal. I come from a split home, and my dad used to let me do whatever I wanted. And I used to drink like so many cans of like Mountain Dew, and my mom did not allow like soda in the house, so I used to go through really bad caffeine withdrawal. So I had made the choice to just give up caffeine entirely, and that had been my choice until my adulthood. And so I do every now and then drink caffeine. Like if it's in my tea, I will drink caffeine, but I, for the most part, don't drink caffeine. And I never liked coffee. In my childhood, I hated the smell of coffee. I always avoided the coffee aisle because I absolutely hate coffee. So I don't drink caffeine, guys. I hate it. I don't drink caffeine. I don't like coffee. I don't do it. So surviving on just barely any sleep and just the wisps of a dream is so hard. It's so hard. So like I was hanging on by a thread. I was hanging on by a thread. So the thought that I was going to make it 21 days is crazy. It's crazy. So the fact that I made it to the full 14 days is amazing to me. So will I ever do this challenge again? I don't know. I maybe if I can forget the sleep deprivation. If I can forget the sleep deprivation, that is a hard maybe. I would have to replace that memory, like block out the sleep deprivation and maybe replace that sleep deprivation with, I don't know, fond memories, fond time. I mean, do I feel accomplished? Absolutely, I feel accomplished. I mean, I have 12 less unread books on my shelf. 12 because, like, you know, two of those books I read on my Kindle. So 12 less unread books on my shelf. That's an accomplishment. I love that for me. But at what cost? At what cost? My sanity. Ah, well, it's gone a long time ago, you know? But, you know, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this mid-month wrap up. We'll see how many books I can get done by the end of the month, and yeah, hopefully I'll see you guys there for the end of the month wrap up. I will tell you what my favorite book I read for the month at that point, and my most anticipated read I will also share with you guys at that end of the month wrap up as well. But let me know what your guys' favorite book that I read in this mid-month wrap up was, and maybe if you guys have read any of those books, share your thoughts on those books as well. And yeah, until next time, guys, read on, my bookish friends.